Welcome to the Rise Up For You podcast, where thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and executives from around the world share their practical tips, strategies, and stories to help you unleash your potential and achieve your goals. Your journey of growth to become your best starts now.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Rise Up For You podcast. This is your host, Natalina Nasruddin, and I am super excited and thrilled to bring yet again another amazing guest all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, I bet, right? Did I get that right?
Yes. One of my cities, yes.
Yes. Brandon T. Adams. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself, but I will tell you, you want to listen to this entire podcast episode because we're going to talk about business, wealth, entrepreneurship, and really taking your business to the next level. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. I know we probably connected somewhere in this world sometime in the last 10 years, but it's cool seeing your stuff on social media as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So Brandon, I always like to start off the episode by having our guests brag a little bit. So tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are. You have some incredible accomplishments. So brag a little bit for our audience.
Yeah, let's see if I can get it done in like 3 minutes so we can get right down to the stuff everybody wants to know. I'm born and raised in Iowa, Northeast Iowa. So basically born in cornfields, small town of 700 people. I grew up in the ice business. My dad sold packaged ice for a living. So literally my whole early childhood, high school, college, I sold packaged ice. I was a delivery guy and I sold frozen water for a living. That was my unique kind of beginning. That's where I learned sales. I learned entrepreneurship. I learned business. Where my life changed, where I kind of thought differently about making money and growth is I remember being in college and I was failing speech comp class. And to actually pass the class, I went and attended a class presentation. The speaker was Cactus Jack Barringer, famous inventor. And he talked about this book called Think and Go Rich. And I read the book and it just kind of changed my thought process because at that time I was getting a 1.68 GPA in college. I was basically failing out, and it made me realize that anything's possible if you get the right people around you, get your mastermind group, but also you got to understand what you want and you got to have a burning desire for it. And also you need to build a specialized knowledge in something. And so I read the book and then that kind of changed everything I did. My first endeavor where I implemented that whole thinking process was an invention I had called Arctic Stick. That product I got to market, sold. We had a patent, we had trademarks. I never really made any money. I spent $100,000 on that endeavor. I made like $10,000 from it, but it led me to crowdfunding where people are raising money. So I realized there was an opportunity to be an expert to help people raise money because everybody was looking to raise money for something. I became a crowdfunding expert. That endeavor led me to crowdfunding. And what I found out, and I've, by the way, done some of the biggest campaigns in history for books, for films, for other things. But I found out the key component to raising the money was the video that we created. So we created a video that would tell a story, have a compelling author. And at the end, we would basically say, hey, here's how you get involved with what we're doing. Give us money and we'll help bring this to market. And so that's where I really got fascinated by film and video and everything else. And so I went all in on the whole video production side of things, created a company called Accelerate Media Group. Fast forward, we've produced documentaries, TV shows, commercials. We've won Emmy Awards, and we end up producing the film Think and Go Rich, A Legacy, which is based on the book Think and Go Rich. So that was one cool kind of like life accomplishment for me to take Napoleon Hill's work to the next level. And then about 3 years ago, I transitioned. So I still do video production and content and helping people grow their businesses, but I do it on a level where I'm a partner in the company. I didn't want to just get paid for here and there for doing gigs. I wanted to build real wealth. And so I started getting basically consulting for equity, bringing partners, bringing groups together, helping grow the companies and getting stock and equity in the companies. So there's two sides of what I do today. One, there's educational and posting videos. I'm speaking around the world. I'm creating content and I'm educating people. The other side, which I love so much, is growing companies. So we're raising capital for companies. We're creating shoots. We're getting influencers involved. We're taking the company to where it's at to the next level, which ultimately we're going for $100 million valuation or $1 billion valuation. And so that's me in 3.5 minutes.
Hey, that was amazing because I have to say, even the most amazing guests, self-promotion's not always the easiest. So thank you for sharing all that. So there's a lot of things we can dive into. Even myself, as somebody that wants to learn from you, we're in a different generation, we're in a different era where social media, videos. I like to say it doesn't matter what business you're in, whether you're in service, it doesn't matter. Video is critical. I don't think any business not have video today, but I'm sure you've seen that there are still a number of entrepreneurs, service-based companies that maybe are afraid of video. They don't know how to use it to grow their business. So I really want to first talk about why video, where do people get started, and how do you create great videos so that you don't hit burnout, which I do think that people sometimes they'll create a video and then like, that wasn't good. Sometimes I have clients that'll spend 10 hours on a 60-second video. And I'm like, oh no. So I'll pass it to you. Like, just share a little bit on that.
So first, why video? Video is the most powerful way to communicate a message in a story. I mean, you think about storytelling, we've been doing it for thousands of years, from the Bible to Martin Luther King to Steve Jobs. They're great, just stories that are communicated to an audience. Now, when you think about video, we're doing a video right here. You can see me. So there's a lot of communication that happens through the eyes. So it's actually proven when you see my eyes, you're more likely to trust me. It's proven when I smile, you're more likely to see me as a nicer person. It's proven when you see my hands, you see me as a more trustworthy person. And so there's so much communication that happens through video. Also, you hear it, you see it. But then when you get to the next level of, let's say, a very powerful video or even a film, it is the transition. It's a motion you can draw with music, with visual, with photos, with videos, with B-roll, everything. And so that kind of takes it to a whole other level of communicating a message. So that's why video is powerful. Now, the next step is just what you do in front of the camera. So starting out, I always tell people just start with the phone. Like, I started with the phone. I started doing Facebook Lives. I think it was like a decade ago when it first became a thing. And just creating content with your phone, sharing who you are, what you do, and how you help people. Who you are, like who you are as a person, your core values, your belief system, because again, people buy from people, but also what is it you can do for the people that are watching those videos? What is your service? What is your knowledge? So if you're an expert in marketing, you're sharing videos around marketing, marketing tips, marketing case studies. You're sharing everything about that, and you're sharing it with the world. So just start doing it with your phone. Eventually you can hire a videographer, you can hire a whole crew, but honestly, just starting out, just do it with your phone. Your investment is your phone, and just posting on social media. Everything is with my phone. I have the apps, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and every other app they have anymore. And I'm just creating one piece of video content that I post to all the platforms, I multi-purpose it, and then I just repeat it. I mean, I'm posting consistent content. I have a team and everything now, but literally when I had to start all over, it was just me doing it with my phone. And there's a couple things here in terms of the sales component of it. Again, when you start creating more content, you're building brand awareness. You're getting people to know you, like you, trust you. And when you consistently share the same message, you become known as that person. And then not only will the people watching you potentially buy from you, they might tell somebody else about you. So build brand awareness. It's repeating, they see the message. They're more likely to buy from you, refer for you. And then again, it's building a personal brand online.
Yeah, I love that. What would you say is a good cadence for anyone that's listening or watching? Questions. For those that are just beginning, what would you say is a good cadence of posting videos? One time a day. I know Gary Vaynerchuk says 7 times a day. So I'm just curious on your perspective. And then for those, like, let's say someone like myself, that is constantly, I would say, posting videos. How do you take it to the next level where, one of the challenges I have sometimes is I'm like, all right, what am I going to talk about today? Because every day I do a video and I have a ton of content in my head, but you want to keep it unique. So first question on maybe the beginner. Second question is keeping it fresh, keeping it creative, and taking yourself to that next level.
So if you're a beginner, I tell people, if you get 3 to 4 videos out a week, that's awesome. Like, I never want to overwhelm somebody because it's not realistic for me to say you go to 0 to videos to go to a video a day. It's just not realistic. And so 3 to 4 videos a week is amazing. Start, walk before you run. And then from there, I personally am doing 1 to 2 videos a day, but it's my thing. I'm constantly putting it out there. I don't disagree with Gary Vaynerchuk. People say, oh, can you do too much? I tell people, no, you never can do too much. I mean, there's certain platforms like TikTok. There's one of the companies I'm a partner in who've actually been seeing data that if you do too many videos on TikTok per day, it actually isn't helping with algorithm. But again, things are always changing with in terms of what they like to see and whatnot. I'm a big advocate of putting out as much valuable content as possible. So my cadence is I'm doing one in the morning, I'm doing one in the late afternoon, evening, and I'm throwing some in here and there because I'm doing it based on my experiences in my life, what's happening. And then I also have a team that's scheduling out content that I had created or repurposing content from my keynotes, my podcast shows, my TV shows, anything I've ever done. So just start, get 2, 3, 4 videos a week on a 7-day period. Timing, like every audience is different. Sometimes things with the algorithm, it might react at a different time than others. I just personally like to do sometime in the morning and then in the afternoon or evening. LinkedIn, by the way, is one platform that I think is very underutilized for video content. There's so much money to be made on LinkedIn. Like I've made so much money in deal flow from LinkedIn, and people think, oh, it's just business, it's a resume place. No, it's becoming social. And I said this 2 years ago, and I constantly am still posting content on LinkedIn or doing live videos on LinkedIn. So these are just a few things. And then taking it to the next level, like you mentioned, I mean, eventually you get to the part where what I've been doing. I've been investing in documentaries, TV shows, and my own content, and then doing things that are more story driven. So like you're doing powerful video assets that aren't just you talking on camera. You're telling a story, you're bringing in third-party testimonials and stories, you're showing B-roll content of you, and you're bringing people along through the journey, which is more than just me talking to a camera. So that's one side of it. Or if you want to even get to the next level, it's doing like a mini docu-series. And the docu-series on the success of your clients, your mission, what you're doing, that's like a whole nother level. So investing in a professional cinematographer and crew and filming videos that are evergreen. So you create them once and they can be repurposed and used all the time, whether on your website, in your funnels, in your systems, in your ad campaigns and TV ads, commercials. So that's like kind of the next level of content.
Yeah, I love that. And I love what you said about LinkedIn, because our company quadrupled during COVID and more than half of our clients came from LinkedIn. Because I noticed that LinkedIn, as you mentioned, was underrated in people putting videos. Because as you mentioned, a lot of professionals, right? So we tackled LinkedIn like crazy, and every day we were getting messages. Do you do coaching? Do you do team training? Do you? And it grew pretty fast just from LinkedIn videos. So I'm
glad you're on LinkedIn.
I'll love it. I'm on that one more than Instagram. So you've obviously, one of the things I really appreciate about you is, you talk and you walk the walk. So you talk the talk, you walk the walk. So talk to us a little bit about how we can leverage video, or maybe it's something else. I know you built partnerships, equity, how companies today can grow to that $100 million mark or more, especially because we know that since COVID, entrepreneurship has gone up. Solopreneurs have gone up that are building like consulting practices. Everybody wants to hit, 7-8 figures. The landscape is changing drastically when it comes to business and the online space. It's no longer about big corp. So how do people get to that $100 million mark, or what are some strategies that you think will help them get there?
So there's a couple ways. So for one, if you have a proven concept or a product or service, and let's say you're doing 1 million in revenue or 10 million in revenue, and you know what your customer acquisition cost is. So for example, like I know that if I spend $250 on marketing, I'm going to acquire a customer that's going to generate me, let's say, $750 in revenue. And so you know your customer acquisition cost. And so once you understand that, and let's say you want to scale it to 50 million, 100 million, whatever that number is, at that point, you can use that data to go and raise capital. So like, hey, you can show to a group when we've done investor dinners, we pitch to investment bankers, all of it. You go into a group and you say, hey, here's our concept, or here's our business model. Here's what we've done. here's what it costs to get this customer. And if we have capital, basically, if you invest capital in our company, we'll give this. And then in return, we're going to take that and scale the company. And if you can actually prove that model, people invest in that. I mean, it's no different than Mark Zuckerberg. I think it was Peter Thiel he went to, and he told Peter, like, hey, I have this many people on the platform. If you give me, it was either $1 million or $5 million, I can actually get to this many users. And the fact that he could do that, Peter Thiel invested in it. Well, it made him a billionaire, made Mark Zuckerberg a billionaire. He could show the true path to users. In that case, it was a free product, but eventually they use it in marketing. So that's one way to look at it. Capital grow. The other side of it is using influencers, getting influential people on board, and even using video assets from that. So we've done shoots with influencers where we do a full day shoot, a commercial, campaigns, and we take all the content from their likeness, them on camera, whether radio or TV or any kind of video asset, and we take all that and we multi-purpose it into ad campaigns. And because we know that influencer will resonate with the audience of the product that we have, we know that it's going to be more likely to get them to buy our product or service. So yes, you got to invest in an influencer, but you can see the direct ROI if you know that their audience will buy your product or service. So we'll take those assets. Maybe we'll do TV advertising. We'll do radio advertising. We'll do XFM radio, satellite radio. We'll do marketing campaigns on TikTok, on Google, on Facebook, on Instagram, paid advertising. So basically using talent and then video assets and then using that likeness to market it. So that's another thing. And then the other big thing I'm a big component of is a dream team. So like an advisory board, I sit on advisory boards. Some are public companies, some are private companies, where we have a CEO that found success and they're smart, but they know they don't have what it takes to get to that next level. Basically, they bring in people that have already done it. A group of us come in who are experts in different areas, and we find larger JV partnerships. Again, we go back to raising capital. We find ways to scale the company. In return, we get a piece of the company, whether it's stock, warrants, equity, any kind of unique deal that we get to be compensated. And then as we grow the company, we all share in that winning. So it's really building the right dream team, or it goes back to thinking rich, your mastermind circle, your people around you that grow and work towards perfect harmony, towards a common goal.
Yeah, your personal board of directors that can guide you.
Board of directors, exactly.
I love that. Brandon, thank you so much for sharing. In even just 15 minutes, you've given, I believe, a lot of strategy, everything from dinner with video to like, let's build that $100 million plus business. So I really appreciate it. I would love to go into the power section of our interview. I'm just going to ask some rapid fire questions.
Do it.
So the first is, if today were your last day on earth, we always like to ask, what would be one golden nugget that you would leave the world with?
Yeah, I would say proximity and specialized knowledge. I mean, branding is one thing and all that, but if you can be in proximity of the right people, you can achieve as much wealth as you want, or knowledge. Early on in my career, I realized that if I could add value to people that already achieved what I want to achieve, I would find a way to get into business with them, and they would exponentially increase my income and take the time away it would take for me to get to that level. So I would say get in proximity of the right people and add massive value to them, and together you guys will make a lot of money together.
Yeah, I love that. We're very big here at Rise Up For You with values. Values, you mentioned this earlier in your introduction about people knowing who they are and what they want. So values is critical for us.
Yeah.
What would you say is one value for you that's an absolute non-negotiable?
Integrity and really being of value in terms of helping other people. For me, like, I will never, I don't care if it's $1 billion, if it's not integrity, if it's not actually adding value to the world in some way, I have no want to be around it. Because I personally, at the end of the day, money is a great thing, and I'm a huge driver of wealth, but I also believe in just like good things and making the world a better place.
Yeah, I love that. I have one more question for you, but before we jump in, tell us a little bit more about how we can find you. I know you have a huge event coming up, I think in October. Maybe I got that wrong, but yeah, share as much as you can.
Yeah, I'll just a quick, if you're looking to share more of your story and also use video to grow your business, every single year we do an event. It's called Rise and Record. Rise Up, share your story through video content. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. We both got the Rise.
Yes.
It's October 17th through the 19th in Nashville, Tennessee. You can go to riseandrecord.com, and for all your listeners, if they do get a ticket, use the code BTA10 for 10% off. But it's a great event. It's really a family reunion for me every year to just bring my inner circle together and other people and show them how to share their story and create more video content, but also connect and find ways to do business together.
I love that. And we'll definitely put that in the notes. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for the discount.
Thank you.
So final question, Brandon. As you know, we're the company Rise Up for You. What comes to mind for you when you hear that phrase?
I like that. When you think of Rise Up for You, it's rising up and being the best version of yourself and not slacking, not getting lazy, not becoming complacent. I think so many people, especially as they get success, they let it get to their head, they let it get to comfortability. I think it's all our God-given duty to be the best we can be and rise up and help as many people as possible. Yes, make more money, have more impact on people's lives, but rise up to the occasion and continue to grow as individuals, because as we go and develop over the years, we always can grow. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So that's what rise up means to me.
I love that answer. Brandon, it really has been a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for your time. Great conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us again for the Rise Up For You podcast. Every single week, we're bringing you 2 episodes of amazing thought leaders, experts from around the world to help you, your team, and your organization reach their potential and be their best. Until next time, I'll see you then. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.